In today's video, I'm going to cover the very first step you need to take right after you get your plans approved. Let's go. Hello again. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I'm getting a few phone calls, and most of the time it's for the same question. Everybody's asking me, I got my permit, what do I do next? It's not a difficult process. However, if you're doing this by yourself, it can get difficult. And today what I'm going to try to do is cover what to do after you get your city permit and what are the steps that you need to take. Hopefully this video is going to be helpful. So let's get started. So yes, you submitted your plans, you got your plans approved, and now what do? Before, when I got my plans, everything will be dealt at the city. So you go to the city, you pay for your fees, and then they will give you something like this. This is your inspection record card. So what happens is you call the number on the back or here, and you will call the city to set up your first inspection. So that's what you do first. You call for your first inspection. Now everything is online, you have to do it yourself. What you're gonna do is you're gonna print out the sheet. It's gonna be something similar to this, but instead of the city giving it to you, they will send you a PDF and you will have to print that out. On the bottom is gonna be the number to call the city. I'll leave their information somewhere in the video below. That way you know who to call. Now, if you live in the city of LA, there's a very helpful tool. What you can do is download the app from the city. This way, instead of calling, you can just schedule all your appointments through the app. And this is what it looks like. I found out about the app when I was about 75% done with my project, and for the very small time that I used it, I found it very helpful. I didn't have to call anymore. All you gotta do is go in the app, go to the settings, and schedule your appointment directly from the app, which makes things even easier. Before I move on with the video, just remember, I'm a realtor. I help people buy and sell houses. If you know somebody who wants to buy a house, please pass on my number. If you know somebody who wants to sell their property, let them know. On average, I can help them save about $6,000 if they list their house with me. And what should you expect when you call your city inspector for the first time? Now, if you're doing this 100% by yourself, you don't have a general contractor helping you out, I'm gonna try to cover all the little things that I did that can possibly help you. So, you're gonna call your inspector. Before the inspector arrives, make sure that your city permit is somewhere visible. You wanna have it on the window, you wanna have it on the front lawn. First reason, once the city inspector looks at the permit somewhere visible within your property, he's going to be happy. The other reason why you want to display your permit is for the neighbors. You're gonna be doing some construction. Everybody has nosy neighbors every now and then, but if they see that city permit, they can't do anything no matter what, because you have the permission from the city. So put the city permit anywhere that it's visible for the city inspector and your neighbors. This specific video covers a garage conversion. If you're going to do new construction, this might be helpful in a way, but for new construction, there's a lot more steps that you need to take. The beginning is very much the same, but after you go from the beginning towards your first step is completely different. You might need a surveyor to measure your land and tell you exactly where you're going to be building your ADU. The contractor most likely is not going to want to do that, so you're going to have to hire a surveyor for them to pinpoint and lay out where your construction is going to be. Now, I'm trying to make things way easier, so if you need the contact information for a surveyor, I just updated the website. I have the contact information for a survey guy that you can just call him. He gave one of the clients that Natalie was helping out a really good deal on his survey. He was doing new construction. He came in, pinpoint everything out in about 3 or 4 days. His survey was ready. So if you need a surveyor, give that guy a call. On your very first inspection, make sure you have a lot of questions written down to ask your city inspector. That's what I did. I had a bunch of questions ready to go. So when he comes by, he'll throw me some information and then I'll ask him a question and we'll go back and forth so we have the right info from the beginning. And this was very important because I was taking on the project by myself. Nobody else was helping me out. I had no other person to rely on. There was no contractor where I could call up and get answers if I was stuck. The only source, the only person that I had on my team was the city inspector. And when you talk to the city inspector, these guys, they know it all. I mean, when I say know it all, they know everything about the process. And whatever questions you ask him, he'll give you the right answer. So that way you have a solution for your problem. And there's going to be a lot of little problems that you have to figure out as you go. So take it one step at a time. Make sure you write down your questions. Be ready to interrogate him so you know what to do. Now, this is a very important pro tip that I'm sharing with you that I'm pretty sure you're going to appreciate. You're going to call the inspector for the very first time. If you want to save a week of work, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to dig up the side of your house to make sure that you have footings. Why am I telling you this? Because you're going to call the inspector for the very first time. He's going to do his walkthrough. He's going to tell you what to do, what he wants to see. If you have drywall in the garage currently, most likely he's going to tell you to take it down because he wants to see the rough framing. You're building a house. You're going to have to do rough electrical, rough plumbing, shear walls, insulation. So you want to have the skeleton of the garage exposed. But you're going to call him to tell you what to do. I would say expose your footings, dig up about a 2 feet wide section of your garage on every single corner. If you have a standalone garage, make sure you do all corners. See if you have footings, because if you have footings, you're going to save one appointment. If you don't do that, what's going to happen is the city inspector, after your first appointment, he's going to tell you, for the next appointment, we're going to have to verify your footings, and that may take a week to set up. So if you want to be ready and save a week, make sure you expose your footings. That way you get 2 birds with 1 stone. If you excavated the side of your garage and you don't have footings, I'm working on a brand new video, and this video is going to cover all the little details that you're going to have to take in order to comply with the plans and pass your inspections. I'm going to document all the steps that you need to take, so don't worry. If you don't have footings, look out for the next video. You also want to ask the city inspector what he wants to see. Remember, he's the guy that knows it all. You don't know anything. I didn't know anything. Anytime I had a question, I would ask him and he would tell me what to do. So just ask him, what do you want to see? If you ask that question, you're going to do exactly what he tells you, and you're not going to mess up the process. Everything's going to be a nice, smooth sailing ship. You're not going to have any dips. I, for the most part, followed about 99% of the inspector's advice. There was one thing that I maybe got ahead over myself, and that was with the drywall. We installed the drywall, they installed the first layer of paste, and you couldn't see the screws. And the inspector let me have it. He was like, you were not supposed to do that. You were supposed to call me. I was supposed to inspect the screws, and then you were supposed to go to the next step. So learn from my mistakes. That was one of the mistakes that I did. And just follow along with your inspector. I would say it's a dance. He takes one step, you take another one. And that way you're going to be building your ADU without a problem. Building the ADU is definitely a tough thing to do. It's difficult. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would have an ADU. But unfortunately, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. If you have $100,000, just hire the company. But if you want to save money, do what I did and do it this way. I'm going to try to make more videos in a way that I'll be explaining the process even with more details. Instead of covering the whole section, I'll try to cover one small detail at a time. And maybe these videos will help people who want to build the ADU on their own and they don't want to spend $100,000. I think that's going to be my goal that I'm going to try to reach. It's very difficult. I am a realtor. I'm helping my clients right now, and today I happen to have a day off, and I just took it upon myself to make these videos because they're very helpful. People call me, they want me to help them out. Sometimes I can't. I'm in a meeting, so I just say, people, hey, I'll call you back, and I might forget. And if you text me, it's kind of the same thing. I'll see the text, I'll try to reply on the spot, but most of the time I have clients that I have to take care of and people that are relying on me to find them a house or helping them sell. That's my priority number one. But anytime that I get a text, and if I have time, I'll try to reply back. Okay, now let's get to the good part. I'm gonna show you what type of gas line size you should be using for your ADU. And this is something very useful. Let's go.